Hello viewers, in this video I will discuss about the history of Indian English literature. We will learn how our Indian English literature was originated, how it had evolved and what is the present condition of Indian English literature, as well as what is the contribution of Indian English literature in world English literature or world literature. So without any delay, let's begin our discussion. Indian English literature, also referred to as Indian writing in English, it is the body of work by writers in India who write in the English language and whose native or co-native language could be one of the numerous languages of India. Okay, we all know in India we have more than 2000 or 3000 languages, and its early history began with the works of Henry Louis Vivian Deroggio and Michael Madhusudan Dutt, followed by Rabindranath Tagore and Sri Aurobindo, R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, and Raja Rao, who contributed to the growth and popularity of Indian English fiction in the 1930s era, and it is also associated in some cases with the works of members of the Indian diaspora who subsequently composed works in English. And it is also frequently referred to as Indo-Anglian literature because Indo-Anglian it is a specific term in the sole context of writing that should not be confused with Anglo-Indian. Although some Indo-Anglian works may be classified under the genre of post-colonial literature, the repertoire of Indian English literature it encompasses a wide variety of themes and ideologies from the late 18th century to the present day, and thereby it also eludes easy categorization. So now let's try to know broadly the history of Indian English literature. The first book written by Indian in English was The Travels of Deen Muhammad. The Travels of Deen Muhammad. This was a travel narrative by Sheikh Deen Muhammad. It was published in England in 1794, and it was the first writing in English language by an Indian English writer. Okay, and in its early stages, Indian English literature was influenced by the Western novel. Early Indian writers also used English unadulterated by Indian words to convey an experience which was essentially Indian. Bankim Chandra Chaturpadhyay, he wrote Raj Mohan's Wife and published it in 1864, and it is the first Indian novel written in English. Then Lal Bihari Dei's Govinda Samanta or the History of Bengali Rayat was published in 1874, and the same author's Folk Tales of Bengal Life Secret it was published in 1912. Then Bianca or the Young Spanish Maiden it was published in 1878 by Toru Dutt. It was the first novel written by an Indian woman. Both Toru Dutt and Krupabai Sathinathan, two promising Indian English writers of the 19th century, they died untimely in their early 20s and 30s, respectively. And Sathinathan's autobiographical novel, Saguna, A Story of Native Christian Life, it was published serially in the Madras Christian College magazine from 1887 to 1888. And the only other novel by Satyanandhan is Kamala, The Story of Hindu Life, which was published in 1894. If you talk about a non-fictional body of works, then it consists of letters, diaries, political manifesto, articles, speeches, philosophical works, etc. in Indian English literature of the 19th and the early 20th century. And it was utterly rich and varied. And the speeches of Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Chitraranjan Das, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, and Subhash Chandra Bose, to name only a few, it shaped the destiny of modern India and also the destiny of English language in Gandhi's India Home Rule or Hind Swaraj that was published in 1910, and it was written in an indigenized variety of the English language and challenged successfully the hegemony of standard English even before R.K. Narayan, M.R. Anand, and Raja Rao did. Now let's try to know about Raja Rao. Raja Rao was born in 1908 and died in 2006. He is an Indian philosopher and writer, and he authored Kanthapura and the Serpent and the Rope, which are Indian in terms of their storytelling qualities. And Kisari Mohan Ganguly, he translated the Mahabharata into English, the only time the epic has ever been translated in its entirely into a European language. So you should remember this. Then Rabindranath Tagore, he was born in 1861 and died in 1941. He wrote in Bengali and English, and he was responsible for the translations of his own work into English. And Dhan Gopal Mukherjee, born in 1890, died in 1936. He was the first Indian author to win a literary award in the United States. Got it? Besides Niraj C. Chowdhury, born in 1897, died in 1999, he was a writer of non-fiction, and he is best known for his The Autobiography of an Unknown Indian that was published in 1551, in which he relates his life experiences and influences. Okay. Moreover, P. Lal, born in 1929, died in 2010. He was a poet, translator, publisher, and essayist. He founded a press in the 1950s for Indian English writing, Writers' Workshop. Then Ram Nath Kak, he was a Kashmiri veterinarian who wrote his autobiography Autumn Leaves, which is one of the most vivid portraits of life in the 20th century Kashmir and has become a sort of classic. Then we got R.K. Narayan, born in 1906 and died in 2001. R.K. Narayan has contributed over many decades and continued to write till his death. And he was discovered by Graham Greene in the sense that the latter helped him find a publisher in England. Then Greene and Narayan remained close friends till the end. Similar to the way Thomas Hardy used Wessex, Narayan had also created the fictitious town of Malgudi where he set his novels. Some criticized Narayan for the parochial, detached, and closed world that he created in the face of the changing conditions in India at the time in which the stories are set. But others, such as Greene, however, feel that through Malgudi, they could vividly understand the Indian experience. And Narayan's evocation of small town life and its experiences through the eyes of the endearing child protagonist Swaminathan in Swami and Friends, it is a good sample of his writing style. Simultaneous with Narayan's pastoral ideals, a very different writer, Mulk Raj Anand, born in 1905 and died in 2004. He was similarly gaining recognition for his writings set in rural India, but his stories were harsher and engaged sometimes brutally with the division of caste, class, and religion. According to writer Lakshmi Holmstrom, the writers of the 1930s were fortunate because after many years of use, English had become an Indian language used widely and at a different levels of society, and therefore they could experiment more boldly and from a more secure position. Then Kamala Markandeya, he is an early writer in IEL. Kamala, maybe she is a woman who has often grouped with the trinity of R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, and Raja Rao. And the contribution of Manoj Das and Manohar Malgonakar to growth of Indian English literature, it largely remains unacknowledged. So now we will try to know the later history of English literature. This is Arundhati Roy. You must have heard, you must have seen, you must have read his works, her works, sorry. And among the later writers, the most notable is Salman Rushdie. You must have heard, read his work. Born in India and now living in the UK. Rushdie, with his famous work Midnight Children, which was also shortlisted, but also won, if I'm not wrong, Booker Prize in 1981 and Booker of Bookers in 1992 and Best of the Bookers in 2008. Ushered a new trend of writing. He used a hybrid language, English generally papered with Indian terms to convey a theme that could be seen as representing the vast canvas of India. And he is usually categorized under the magic realism mode of writing, most famously associated with Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And then Nayantara Sehgal, she was one of the first female Indian writers in English to receive wide recognition. And her fiction deals with India's elite responding to the crisis engendered by political change, and she was awarded the 1986 Sahitya Akademi Award for the English for her novel Rich Like Us in 1985, published by the Sahitya Akademi, India's National Academy of Letters. Then Anita Desai, who was shortlisted for the Booker Prize 3 times, received a Sahitya Akademi Award in 1978 for her novel Fire on the Mountain, and a British Guardian Prize for The Village by the Sea. Her daughter Kiran Desai also won the 2006 Man Booker Prize for her second novel, The Inheritance of Loss. Furthermore, Ruskin Bond also received Sahitya Academy Award for his collection of short stories Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra in 1992, and he is also the author of a historical novel, A Flight of Pigeons, which is based on an episode during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. So this is Salman Rushdie. This is a picture of him when he was speaking something maybe somewhere. Okay, then we have got Bikram Seth. Bikram Seth, he is the author of The Golden Gate that was published in 1986 and A Suitable Boy that was published in 1994. He is a writer who uses a purer English and more realistic themes. Being a self-conscious fan of Jane Austen, his attention is on the story, its details and its twists and turns. Bikram Seth is notable both as an accomplished novelist and poet, and Bikram Seth is also a prolific poet. Another writer who has contributed immensely to the Indian English literature is Amitabh Ghosh. He is the author of The Circle of Reason that was published in 1986, and it was a debut novel, and The Shadow Lines that was published in 1988, The Calcutta Chromosome in 1995, The Glass Palace in 2000, The Hungry Tide in 2004, and Sea of Poppies in 2008. And it was the first volume of the Ibis trilogy set in the 1830s, just before the Opium War, which encapsulates the colonial history of the East. Amitabh Ghos's latest work of fiction is A River of Smoke that was published in 2011, the second volume of the Ibis trilogy. And he has also won the uh, Gyanpith Award, India's highest literary award. Then we have got Rohinston Mistry. He is an Indian-born Canadian author who is a New Start International Prize for Literature laureate in 2012. His first book, Tales from Firoz Shah Bagh, published in 1987, published by Penguin Books Canada. It is a collection of 11 stories, and his novels such A Long Journey 1991 and A Fine Balance 1995, it earned him great acclaim. In a similar vein, M.G. Basanji, he was born in Kenya of Indian descent and emigrated to Canada. He twice won the Giller Prize for the Book of Secrets in 1994 and the In Between World of Bikram Lal 2002, Bikram Lal, as well as the Governor General's Award for English Language Nonfiction for A Palace Within, Rediscovering India 2008, a travelogue. Then another major writer we can say is Shashi Tharoor in his The Great Indian Novel published in 1989. It follows a storytelling, though in a satirical way. Is in the Mahabharata, drawing his ideas by going back and forth in time. His work as a UN official living outside India has given him a vantage point that helps construct an objective Indianness. Then Bikram Chandra is another author who suffers between India and the United and has received critical acclaim for his novel Red Earth and Pouring Rain in 1995 and collection of short stories Love and Launching in Bombay 1997. And his namesake Bikram A. Chandra is a renowned journalist and the author of the Srinagar Conspiracy 2000. Then Suketu Mehta is another writer who currently based on the United States, who authored Maximum City in 2004, an autobiographical account of his experience in the city of Mumbai. And in 2008, Aravinda Adiga received the Man Booker Prize for his debut novel, The White Tiger. And there is also a movie name on this novel you can watch. There is a the actor maybe Rajkumar Rao and Priyanka Chopra. You can watch that. Okay. Uh, so that's it. I hope you have understood. If you want to read more, then you can read more. This you will get from the Wikipedia. Okay.